Deciding whether to cut or to bulk is a difficult decision because it's long term, which means you have to stick with the choice that you pick, or else both of them wouldn't be effective, right? So it can be hard, right? Because there's pros and cons to both, and it really takes a lot of thought put into it in order to decide which one to do. 2 years ago, this was a big issue in my mind. I was going back and forth. I wasn't really committing to either of them. And I was around 125 to 130 pounds. I wanted to get the planche, which obviously lower body weight is better for that. But I also really wanted to gain muscle and I wanted to gain strength. And to do that, I'd need to bulk up. And this was a tough decision because the planche was a really big goal in my mind, but so was getting bigger, right? And these two ideas clashed for many months, and I couldn't figure out a way to choose. So I took a while to research and kind of see what I was working with, see what my options were, and choose something from there. And from this, I decided to do a lean bulk. This way, I could gain weight slowly, but I would also stay lean enough to where I could practice the planche and whatever calisthenics skills I was working on at the time other than that. And this worked for a while, right? I was making some good progress in both. Obviously, my planche training had just started, so I was making good progress from that, like the newbie gains. But I was also moving up in my weight, which I was really happy with. So if you're struggling with the decision, I can't tell you what to do because I'm not a medical professional and I don't know your story, your background. But I can't tell you that lean bulking really helped me when I was skinny, right? It gave me the good balance, as I said before, and it was a really good first choice, right? And I'm really glad I did it because now I'm around 165 and I'm still lean, right? I didn't gain much body fat from that, and I'm way closer to planche even though I'm heavier, but I also look a lot better, and I have to attribute that whole thing to lean bulking, right? It took a lot of time spent tracking my calories, all that in MyFitnessPal, and I had to minimize the amount of sugar and other processed foods I ate. But I think looking back at it now, it was very worth it because as a skinny guy, it's hard, right? You're smaller than a lot of people, and because of that, you don't have much confidence. But through this whole process, through every calorie tracked, I gained a little bit of confidence because I knew how hard it took to see progress and eventually get to where I am now. And if you're not sure whether you can eat that much, I can tell you that for me at least, after a couple weeks of bulking and seeing how everything worked, figuring out my diet plan, figuring out how many meals I should eat in a day, doing all of that, my body actually started getting used to eating that much. So it got a lot easier after the first couple of weeks because I wasn't just eating food even though I wasn't hungry. I was actually, getting hungry at this point. My body was figuring out that I was eating more, and it prepared for that, right? So that's just one thing. If you're scared of eating so much and you don't think you can maintain that for a while, I was in the same position, but I got used to it, and I'm sure you will too. So if you're not sure, ask yourself what your future self would appreciate the most. If you don't want to bulk, but you need to, you're pretty small right now, decide whether you think you should go for just the bulk and just gain weight and maybe gain a bit of fat as well, and go with that. Or see if you want to do it a bit more slowly, like what I did with the lean bulk, and therefore you get kind of the best of both worlds, but it is a bit slower progress. Or you can cut, if you're totally set on doing difficult calisthenic skills and you're not as much into the bodybuilding of it all, and you don't really care as much about gaining weight, then that could be a good option for you too. I can't really talk very much about cutting when you're already big because that's never been my experience, but I can tell you to ask yourself what you'd appreciate the most in a few years. So no matter what you choose, if it's bulking, lean bulking, or cutting, make sure to stick with your decision for a while, right? Because if you keep flip-flopping back and forth, you're never really going to see progress. You're just going to stay at about the same, because it takes time to see progress for this, and everything worthwhile takes time to achieve. So if you're not too sure, you just kind of have to pick one and roll with it. I would say for myself to bulk, because cutting when you're growing, I've heard, is not very healthy, and so I'm maintaining right now because I'm at a good weight, I think, but I don't think I'm gonna cut for a few years. I think I'm gonna keep lean bulking a bit, because I don't want to deprive my body of the nutrients that it needs to, grow. I want to get as tall as I can and be as healthy as I can. So yeah, again, I'm not a medical professional and I'm just some guy on the internet, but that's just my thoughts. So yeah, whatever you do, stick with it and, see the results after a while. And I promise you, it will be well worth it. And it's a lot better than switching every couple weeks and, completely redoing all the work you've been doing. So yeah, thanks for watching. And if you would like help with your calisthenics skills, if you want to gain strength a lot faster, gain muscle, I'd be happy to help you. Either shoot me a comment, or I have a Calendly link where you can decide to book a call with me and see if you're a good fit for my coaching. So thanks for watching.